Welcome to Yep Yeah Yes podcast with Tamika and Marisa. Today we're going to talk about being in the middle. Not the good kind of middle. In the middle of conflict.
Ugh.
So, I'm all hot and bothered on the inside because I've been thinking about this all day. But before we get started, Tamika, how was your week?
It was stressful.
Why was it stressful?
Child, I'm driving a rental, which
Oofa.
is full of BS. The weather here is horrible. Nor'easter, the snow, everything. I'm in a conflict with Mother Nature. But hey, I'm here, I'm alive, and darn good at darn. What darn gosh?
You're in a conflict with that phrase.
What
gosh
is
darn it.
Gosh darn it, I'm here. Anyway.
Oh my gosh. So listen to this. So I want to talk about conflict, and I being in the middle of conflict. So, have you ever had a situation where, I'm going to say, someone did somebody dirty and wrong, and you are in the middle of those two people? Not that you have to choose sides, but inevitably, you kind of got to choose a side. Or, you're so uncomfortable that, how do you act? What do you do?
Yeah, I'm still coughing.
Oh, yes. Welcome to Tamika's Cough. Welcome to the show.
Anybody got any remedies out there other than going to my doctor?
Like real remedies.
Like real remedies, not drugs or anything like that.
Like shaved ginger and lemon.
I'm somewhat a sober individual. I mean, I don't do drugs, but I'll take a cocktail concoction, especially when I'm in conflict, as you mentioned today's show is about. So yeah, I have been in situations where I felt where the people expected me to pick a side.
Did you pick a side?
Yes. Did I vocalize it all the time? No.
No. Okay.
What about you? We're not doing the Oprah thing today. Like, it's not like, let's ask Tamika a question and then I go on for hours.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You need to, what about you? I turn the tables on you.
Yes. So check this out. So, listen. You know how money ain't cheap, right? Yes or no? Do you know how money ain't cheap?
Well, I don't understand that phrase, but I'm not going to get into that.
Well, money ain't cheap. It costs a lot to make $1, right? The value of $1 isn't just 100 pennies,
right.
So, I had somebody, a family member, steal from my mama. But the thing was, I was also at the time around that family. And it was one of those things where, like, oh my goodness, y'all done took from my mama, but I'm here in the middle of y'all. And y'all are talking ish about my mama too? Oh my God. And I'm thinking about it now and I'm getting real salty about it. But yeah, so that kind of conflict.
So how did you resolve that? Like, or have you, I guess partially resolved because your mother, God rest her soul, is no longer here. Mm-hmm. But you still live with that.
Yeah.
So how do you live with that today?
I pretended I didn't know anything. Because
Could that person be listening to this podcast and assume that she or he
I don't know. I don't think so.
Who cares though, right?
So what? Who cares? You know what? I don't know.
You don't know what?
I don't know but see, that's the thing,
You don't know
everything ain't about you, whoever's listening, everything ain't about you. But I don't know. See, here's the thing though. Do you always need resolution to your conflict?
I think you need resolution when it comes to dealing with people all of the time. For example, there's a conflict between two people and you're caught in the middle and you see these people all the time.
Oh, I know.
And you never picked a side and they always looking at you, and then now there's a wedding. Or there's a barbecue. And both people are there and they're looking at you like, oh, so now you down with them? Or the other one's like, wait a second, you're two-faced.
I know that, and that is my conflict. That's what I'm talking about.
So how do you resolve it?
I don't think I do. I have not. In that situation, I did not resolve it. I don't think it's ever been resolved.
How old do you think you were? Because when you think about life, we all experience different things in compartments, I'll say.
Right.
And there's certain things that happen that open our eyes to how people are. Fucking
Right.
cough. How people are, and it kind of makes us think a certain way and makes us look at certain people a certain way. This particular conflict that you are referencing, were you young, or was there conflicts that happened before that?
Well, I don't know. I was 10, turning 11.
So you were young, where it was
11,
like,
yeah.
it's the pivotal conflict. There was probably other conflicts.
But I probably wasn't privy to all of that.
Right. Or it didn't touch you in the same way.
Right.
It didn't have an effect on you.
You know, this is what I will say. As I thought, because I've been thinking about this, because I wanted to talk about this today. I was thinking about it, and it shaped me more than I ever did realize, because it made me look at family in smaller numbers. Mm-hmm. It made me, and I never realized this about myself. I don't trust people. And it's not that I have a trust issue. I don't. I just don't give people that. I could talk for 5 hours and not say anything. So I don't give people enough to take my trust away. It's very hard to get into that inner circle. And I didn't realize. I think that is one of those moments that really shaped who I am as an adult today. Because
how do you think that trust or lack of trust of people has manifested itself in your life?
Because I never give anyone that benefit to really take something from me. I very rarely invite people into my home. I very rarely share valuable things, and not just monetarily, valuable things as far as who I am as a person, and other than in this stinking podcast, and just the way I think and feel. I'm very, very quiet. I don't really give my opinion, although people assume that I'm constantly giving my opinion, but I'm not. I don't really interject my opinion, and I don't give people enough to break that trust. So if you've never had it, you can't break it. You don't owe me anything. If you're not part of my inner circle, who I value and count on, what you do has no effect on me.
I think, it's interesting that you say that, because when you describe who you are, when it comes to me, I don't believe anything anybody tells me.
You do not.
Somebody will tell me it's raining outside. I was like, you're bullshitting.
Let me see it.
Yeah,
prove it.
I need you to
show
prove
me your
it.
Umbrella.
I need you to open the door and show me it's raining. I think this is why before you go on, mm-hmm. I think this is why you and I get along so well, because we're so distrusting of what people say, and you of, I guess, how people act, or whatever it is, however you want to break it down, so much so that we looked at each other and was like, all right, bitch.
Well, first of all, let's go all the way real with it.
I was in conflict with you, and you ain't even know it.
No, I did know it. First of all, I did know it. First of all, I had to buy your friendship.
Oh, see, why do you even gotta go there? You know I'm
FYI, people, I bought her a Christmas gift, and then her heart melted, and then now we're friends. 20
but
years.
Who has? I told you. Mm-hmm. You know what? Let me just explain something to you. You know why?
Why?
Because my entire life has been about buying for people. And somebody bought from me. Somebody saw me.
But I think also, too, for you, you're very much actions. And I think you didn't understand who I was. Because it was like, oh, she's so friendly, she talks to everybody. But then I don't think that you realize that, yeah, I talk to everybody, but I'm not saying nothing. I'm letting people do most of the talking. If not, I'm giving fluff. I really didn't give of myself. So you really needed to learn that. But once we did, and this is one of the things that I like talking to you about when it comes to situations in life, because I'll be like la-di-da and rainbows and butterflies, and you're like, hold up, bitch, hold up. You didn't notice that X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, oh my God, you are correct.
I don't know if that's a good thing with me though, because I'm always I see the negative in everything. If a girl is frowning, I'm like, she getting her ass whipped. I swear, I can never just be take things for face value. I always think there's something behind it. You know that. I can't Like, and it's because I don't believe what people tell me. You have to
your
show
actions.
me.
Yeah,
and
your actions.
So, and I think that's why you and I get along so well, because you are a shower.
Yeah.
I don't believe anything you tell me, and I've told you that. Like,
I know.
You tell me shit, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, even with this podcast, like, we're gonna do a podcast. I'm like, yeah, bitch.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm like, you want to do a podcast? Like, yeah. I was like, in the back of my head, here we go. Why even put that out there? But here we are on show 5, and we in it. You know what I'm saying? So she's showing me. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know what any of this has to do with conflict. But I feel like we're constantly talking about our friendship every week. It's like, does anybody really care?
I think they do.
Okay.
Well,
since we said that,
okay.
I know there's like 2 or 3 followers out there. So shout out to my mom.
Mama Debbie, hello.
Shout out to our friend Frank.
Oh,
man. Frank, thank you for putting that message on iTunes, and shout out to Missy for writing me and letting me know that she loved everything about it. So if you want to be on the podcast next week,
yeah.
And Elliot, shout out to Elliot. He spoke out, and
he gracias.
So there's some people out there. If you want to shout out next week,
huh? Melissa El Gato.
El Gato, I don't call
her
her
Missy.
That's what I just said.
Oh no, I was calling her El Gato. I was giving her
So now I gotta put a picture of her with this section. Like, if you want to hear something about El Gato, aka Melissa, aka Missy.
You put all her name out there. Wow.
Ain't nothing you can't find on the internet already.
True.
Everything is already out there. But anyway.
Wait, hold up. I wanna get back to conflict. I got like a mini conflict, but it's not really like a conflict. But I want to talk about it. Ready?
Yes.
So I'm sitting with my daughter, and we're looking at videos, and we were looking at RuPaul's Drag Race, because there was like, how they do like the dance.
I've never seen it before.
You're missing out. So she's like, is that a boy? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, why are they dressed like ladies? And I was like, oh, because they're drag queens. And she's like, are they ladies or men? And I was like, they're drag queens. Well, then wait a minute. I don't know if they're ladies or men. And she's like, what? Yeah, this is a 7-year-old. But then I started to do the whole like, well, okay. So these ladies, when they're dressed like ladies, they're ladies. But they're boys. They're men. And she's like, okay. But I was like, there are people out there that are born like boys and feel like ladies. And there's ladies that are born like ladies and feel like boys. And she was like, what? And I was like, oh my God, what did I do? Because she's 7. But I also wanted her to have a broader mind and a broader opinion to like, I was like, how do you feel? And she's like, I feel fine. I was like, no. I mean, are you a girl or a boy? She's like, I'm a girl. I was like, do you feel like a girl? And she's like, yeah. I said, well, you're very lucky because you're born the way you feel. And she was like, people are born how they don't feel. I said, sometimes. And she's like, well, how do they know? And I was like, I don't know. But if you don't feel like you have a conflict on the inside, then you're very lucky because not everybody gets that. And sometimes they have to, maybe they don't understand how they're feeling. Maybe they have to work a little bit to really understand. And she was like, so back to this dancing. Is that a boy or a girl? And I was like, it's a lady. She's dressed like a lady. It's a lady. And then I was like, wait a minute. Why did I just do that with a 7-year-old? But then I was like,
start early.
Yeah, that's my thing. I want her to understand that, I don't know. I don't know. I wanted her to have a broader mind and a broader view of just gender maybe is not just male and female.
Sometimes I think with kids, and, I say this with a caveat that I have no kids, but I was once one. Sometimes you have to be honest with them from the beginning, and they might not always get it, but they might be able to reference that conversation. She might come across a drag queen one day in a supermarket,
or a transgender person who doesn't, but
who
she's a
fully
kid,
transitioned, or whatever the case.
But she's also a kid. She might come across someone who doesn't understand how they feel,
and it also will make her tolerant. I'm messing up my word. I did take cough suppressant.
Oh, hold on.
Tussin.
Took the Tussin. Okay.
I took 2 of them, but I didn't mix it with nothing, so I should be good. Last week I was fine though, so.
So okay, so we should be okay. Shout out to
I'm not coughing as much. I'm cuffing. Oh boy.
Wait, I have another conflict I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
Okay. So when I was little, right? My mother. But it goes. Not. It wasn't a conflict, but it was exactly what you just said. So I don't know how little I was. I was very, very young. And my mom had this friend, and it's like they were talking, and you quiet, you little, so you get to be in grown folk business. And he was talking about his boyfriend. And I was like, hold on a second. Because at the time, I wasn't exposed to that. And I was like, I thought boys and girls are the only pairing. So, we're walking back to our car. And I was like, Mom, does that boy have a boyfriend? She was like, yeah. And I was like, what does that mean? Isn't he supposed to have a girlfriend? She's like, no, he's gay. And I was like, what's gay? And she's like, when two people of the same sex like each other. And I was like, oh, is that wrong or is that okay? She's like, it doesn't affect you, so it doesn't matter. And I was like,
I love your mother.
Right? And I was like, so boys can have boyfriends and they can have girlfriends? Isn't that greedy? And she's like, I guess. I don't know. but it was that exposure at such a young age literally has me with the whole ideology of I might not understand what a transgender or a gay individual or a, questioning individual, I might not understand their feelings, but I know it's none of my business, and you have support. If you need to talk, I don't know, you don't have my number, so you can't call me, but
you can contact us at yes on Twitter.
There you go. But it's that, there's no conflict because there's toleration, and, everybody has different things. Have you ever had that sort of conflict within yourself? Not within yourself, but within your rearing?
I've had conflict in my rearing, yes, because I wasn't brought up the same way as you. I was always brought up with like right or wrong, and people that didn't look, I wouldn't say like me, but people that didn't weren't quote unquote normal, you laugh at them, you make fun of them. To this day, like it's crazy. Mm-hmm. And I don't know where, I'm not exactly sure how I learned to be tolerable of others, other than knowing that I grew up with so many quote unquote handicaps plaguing me. Sometimes it makes you, when you have shit going on with you, you look at the other person and you're like, that ain't nothing,
Yeah.
So, but I think the conflict with me was, and it still remains, whenever family or friends make fun of someone.
Yeah.
Do you join in, or do you say that ain't right? And when you don't say that's not right, I should stop saying when they or with me.
Right.
Whenever I'm around family members
or friends,
and friends who say things that I don't necessarily agree with about people that don't look like them,
right?
Or don't act like them, then I'm always conflicted about speaking up and out.
And that's the conflict, because I think there comes a point where listen, I got people in my family that are in their 70s. They ain't gonna change, or will they? There's the conflict.
Change.
There's the conflict. But there's some people that are just so ingrained in who they are.
I think you change because you want to change.
Yeah.
I don't think being 70 has anything to do with anything. I mean, I look at my mother and I know she wouldn't be upset that I'm bringing this up, but there's things about her that I know she has changed completely. Like growing up, sometimes I'll be like, wait a second. Oh, now you about this? Well, you wasn't like this in the 80s. Where was this at?
Well, So that was her addressing her internal conflict.
I'm saying, but it's possible.
Yeah,
it's possible. It's people smoke their whole life, and then they wake up and they're like, you know what? I don't want to smoke no more.
Yeah.
People cheat on their spouses, and then they say, you know what? I'm tired of fucking other bitches.
I'm tired of fucking other bitches.
or men or whatever.
Bitches.
But anybody can change. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a capacity as long as there's a desire.
Do you want to?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where it comes into play. Like, how much do you want to? And are you strong enough? Are you strong enough to step outside of yourself and stop being conflicted with, am I doing this? It's funny because now I say it more. There was a time where I joke, and it's like crazy because, especially like my mother, she loves to do the whole like, well, you didn't have a problem before, or she'll say, well, you said, and she's right. She's right. I'm not going to say exactly what she's right about, but there's been times where I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. And then, you see other people, you go different places, you see other people cry about that same thing that you made fun of them for. Yeah. Or you see how they're affected, or you see how a child reacts to it. Yeah. And you make a concerted effort to be like, I'm not going to be like that. And if I see somebody else do that, I'm going to speak out. Whether they change their mind, but maybe they won't do it around me. Right. And so now they're making that concerted effort. Right. That's why I say like a 70-year-old, if they know how you feel about it, if they cannot do that around you anymore, then they can not do that at all.
Oh, yeah. Have you had a complete conflict of your ethos? Of exactly what you stand for, who you are?
Yes.
What did you do about it?
Okay, so first of all, the first time I really recognized conflict was when I was in high school. There's certain things that happen, and you act out and you do things that are not just not cool. Right. You know what I mean? And on a side note, just thinking about high school and all this stuff that
my whole body just went into shutdown mode.
It's just a whole nother thing. But I want to give a shout out to my friend Sherry, who was there for me when so many people weren't. I really had a rough time in high school, and today's her birthday, and I just
happy birthday,
shout
Sherry.
Out to Money.
Money.
I'm Drop, she's Money. It's a long story.
Okay.
But anyway, in high school, there were things that I did, and so one of the ways that I'll tell you, I don't know if I told you about this, but I had a teacher, and I wanted to be. Did I tell? Yes. I had a teacher, and I wanted to be accepted and thought of like cool, but being cruel doesn't make you cool. No. You know what I mean? I should write a book.
You should.
Cool ain't cruel. Cruel ain't cool. Anyway, so I spit on the guy, and I had such guilt about it, and I was conflicted about. But wait, let's set the picture, because you just said something and it's like, hold up, because I'm a visual person, so you're like, you spit on, what do you mean, like you went to his face? You spit at him and it landed on the back of his blazer. He didn't know. I spit on the back of him.
Right.
On his back of his shirt.
Because you were trying to be cool.
Yeah. Because I spent the entire class session working up spit. Like an idiot.
Damn.
And then finally at the end of the day, I was like, I'm like pointing at the other kids like, watch this, watch me do this.
But did you get cool points?
I got cool points, but they didn't last.
Because you were cruel.
They didn't matter.
Because you were cruel.
Because I was cruel. And I ended up writing a letter to him. And I get sad thinking about it because I never saw him. He didn't come back to school. It was like the last day of school that semester, and he didn't come back to school. Like that was it. And then I saw him in the mall, and he was doing his power walk, and I was like, oh my gosh. He never got the letter. My mother found it like a year later. In my box of letters. I was on my way to New York to be in New York for the summer.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm me trying to be open and share everything with my mom, like, we're best friends. I let her read the letters and notes, and she opened it and she's like, wait, what's this? You spit on your you're not going to New York. This whole thing. My uncle shows up, and he came there to take me to New York. Yeah. I ended up going to New York, but the disappointment on my mother's face was nothing compared to the disappointment I felt for so long. For being so cruel. And the conflict I had was about how I was received by my peers. Mm-hmm. And how I perceived myself. Right. And it was one of the first times, and like I said, I was in high school, I was young. It was one of the first times where I really had this inner turmoil. Mm-hmm. And, something outside of anything, something that I could control. Right. You go through your childhood, your youth, and, your parents and your family. Yeah. You go through things, you move because, you have to. Right. But there's certain things in life that you have control over.
Right.
I had control over that, and I made that decision, and I regret it to this day. And it's like I said, it's like one of the early memories I have of having true conflict about, what was right and what I felt from other people.
Right.
And at the end of the day, how other people judge you should never matter.
Right.
Because I don't even know who was in that class. I don't even, like, somebody might be listening to this podcast right now and be like, oh yeah, I was there. I don't know who that person is.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, it's just, all I know is that man's name and how guilty I felt. And to this, to this day, I don't not think about it, from time to time, and think, I need to repent for that.
Yeah,
you know?
Oh, man.
I know.
I think about, like, I'm thinking about myself. Have I ever, I don't think I've done anything like that in those terms, but I know, like, as a kid, I've heard other people, like, I'll be, like, sitting, not in a circle, but, like, around, some mean girls, and I hear them talking, and I didn't say anything. Where they'll be like, oh, this one's too skinny, or too fat, or too this, too that. And I didn't say anything.
Do you think that continues today as an adult?
Me as an adult? No, because there's language that I just don't allow around me, and people have adjusted who they are or how they speak. Because I don't...
That is what I was talking about earlier.
Before,
when you're older, you can change how you are around a person, and you can change. Yeah,
because I've heard, like, I was acquainted with someone, and they asked me, oh, are they ugly? And I was like, are they ugly? I've never heard, I don't think of people in those terms. I don't think like that. And I've never heard those words again. I've never, they've never described someone in those terms. And then there have been times where, like, I don't, like, the word fat. I've been called fat for so long, but if I look at pictures, it's like, really? Ugh. So I've always been called fat by my family, or chubby, or something like that. And I don't use that word unless I'm describing, like, a skinny pen or a fat pen or the fat marker, and I don't even let my kids use those terms.
Yeah, I have trouble with, like, there's definitely language that I continue to use. It's evidence on this podcast. Every week I'm like, I'm not going to curse, and here I am. I curse.
Like a sailor.
Exactly. But, and there's words that I use that I think can be detrimental to a child, to, even to an adult.
Right.
Triggers, but, we're all a work in progress.
You know what's one of my triggers? Oh my God. My trigger is lazy, idiot, fat, or when people are laughing and you're like, oh, what are you guys laughing at? And they don't tell you what it is. I take it so personal. That is such a trigger for me. Because it's like, it brings me back to, like, a 7-year-old, and you're like, what are you laughing at? Stop laughing at me.
You know what my trigger is?
What?
When people tell me that I think that I'm better.
You think that they think that you're better than them. Or
no, they think that I think that I'm better than them. Why does this remind me of the Friends episode? They don't know that. They don't know that. They don't know. No, but when the other person thinks that I think that I'm better than other people, when the truth of the matter is, I think I am so whack on so many levels, but that it's like, okay.
Yeah, what boggles my mind, and it's funny that you say that, because I've heard that. I've heard people say that, like, oh, she thinks she's better than. And I'm like, oh my God, first of all, that is your issue and your trigger, not hers. She doesn't even think in those terms. But it's one of those, like, well, did you talk to her? No. Have you ever had a conversation with her? No. So
I'm the most insecure person anybody will ever meet. Like, I'm insecure on a level where people don't even realize I'm insecure. They be like, oh my God, she's so funny.
She's so funny and so strong and so.
Meanwhile, I bleed. I go on my bathroom floor, I cry. I love hard, but at the end of the day, we all got something, you know what I mean? But that's definitely a trigger for me, because that couldn't be so further from the truth. Yeah. Like, people don't even realize how far from the truth that is.
Yeah.
It's like, so not me.
Yeah, I know.
But what am I giving out to make people think that?
But I haven't heard that in eons. And I think that's just one of those things that as people are growing into who they are and they're becoming more secure in themselves, they don't think in those terms. Because as an adult, if you can call me an adult,
you're an adult.
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm 12.
You're adulting these days.
Girl, I feel like I'm 12 half the time.
You're not. Let me remind you. You're far from 12. More than 20 years removed.
Shut up. Oh my God.
You're not 12.
Can you shut your mouth?
So anyway, what were you saying?
No,
before I said you weren't 12.
Shut up. Because as you're growing into who you're becoming, you become more secure, and then you don't really think in those terms anymore. I just haven't heard another adult be like, ooh.
Well, my circle is quite small now too. So, and we don't work like in the same field with the same people that are able to talk and try to,
Wait, can I bring that up for 1 second? Because we've worked in and out of the same industry 3 times or 4,
whatever. 3,
whatever. So you and I worked in the same industry for the same company for a little bit, and meeting these individuals, and it was. What was so hard about that place is that these were I've never met a more concentrated bunch, where I would say of 20 individuals, 18 of them are extremely insecure, very, very self-centered, and very, very worried what you bring to the table that they lack.
And that's why I wasn't successful there.
Well, yeah, that's true.
That's not how I get down.
No, but it wasn't a team mentality either, and I think those
even though that's what was constantly purported to be the mentality that they were skewing.
But see, that goes to the same philosophy. If you say you're humble, you're not humble.
Right.
If you keep calling yourself a team and saying you're a team and we're a team and you're not an effing team. But that quote unquote team was so insecure and so worried of who you were that they couldn't see past themselves.
It's funny because I'm thinking, like, when I first started there, nobody said, hi, nice to meet you. Well, they said, like, hi, I'm such and such, nice to meet you. And then what would you think if in a normal situation the next question or comment would be? A normal situation.
Hey, nice to meet you. Oh, maybe like let's grab some lunch. Where are you working? Maybe I can help.
Right. No, the next thing, which territory do you have? Where are you working?
Yeah.
Which accounts do you have?
Let me see.
Let me see.
It's
like, really?
Really? Yeah.
Really?
Let me see.
That's what we're doing now?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, yeah, you're going to have to try to get something different.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
And then when you realize that you're of no value,
mm-hmm.
and you can't help someone else grow to be who they want to be,
yeah,
or who they purport to be,
yeah,
then you're discardable.
Yeah.
You're not of
value.
But
you are. They work together to discard you.
If they have happy hour in your neighborhood, you ain't invited.
No, but they work hard to discard you.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and the friendships that were there were not what I would consider true friendships. They were friendships to make sure and guard what they believe is theirs.
Well, now how do you consider any of that? Where did you find the conflict in that? In terms of who you were and working there?
No, see, with who I was, I knew it wasn't my forever. It was a stepping stone to something else, and I knew that, and I was okay with that. But my conflict came of when I said, you and I are friends. They still don't understand that you and I are friends. They thought that we just know each other.
Right.
They didn't understand that word friend. So when they would talk bad about whatever, or oh, she's so she's quiet and self-centered, she doesn't make herself part of the group. And it's like, why would she? Look at you're talking to her best friend. Like, you're talking to her friend. I came out the gate telling you we're friends.
Even like years, like 15 years ago, working in certain industry,
mm-hmm.
and we'd go to the same account.
Yes.
Like an hour between each other.
Yeah.
And Mofo would say, and I'd be like, really? Like, back then, like, anybody that's listening to this that used to work with me knows, and I know it annoyed the hell out of people, but some things you have to reiterate because it needs to be known. Like, I would always be like, they'd be like, oh, I got to tell you something. Don't tell nobody. Well, I'm going to tell Marisa. No. Well, then don't tell me.
Yeah.
Like, really?
I know all your secrets, motherfuckers. I know all your secrets.
But yeah, it was one of those things. So it's like, even if you tell people I'm gonna, you tell me I'm gonna tell Marisa, or we're best friends, so like don't go there. Like what are you doing?
Yeah.
And they would still
tell you. But what's crazy is that there was only one time where they were acting like
there was no conflict there, because it was like, it is what it is.
Yeah. But it was funny to me. It's like, even because I'm always around. The plus one. So, like, I'd be around and they'd be, like, trying to whisper to you or, like, pretend I don't exist. And I'm like, that's cool, mofo. I'll find out later. I'm good.
And whispering didn't work because I wear hearing aids. Be like, speak up. Oh, my God.
That's amazing.
What a history we have.
I will say this. Anyone, and this isn't a threat. This isn't a warning. I told y'all mofos. From a long time ago, because I met you as a kid. I met you 20 years ago, and I will consider that being a kid. And anyone that crossed paths with me that tried to put you and I against each other or come between us.
And it happened.
I told these mofos, listen, I'm good. There is no conflict. I don't even have to have a conversation because I'm good. And I told y'all mofos, look at y'all now listening, and we're still friends. So I'm saying, learn. Pray to have a friend like that.
Holleration. Shout out to Mary. Sorry you didn't win the Oscar. Everything's a song for me.
But how amazing was her dress, though?
The dress was banging. Yeah. I gotta say. And you see Tiffany Haddish
wore the. I'm so glad she did that, though.
I love it.
I love it.
People was hating, but whatever.
Whatever. There's always to hate.
Somebody always got something to say.
Always.
Why are you watching?
What?
Why are you watching?
But you're watching her, though, right?
Watching, right?
But you're
and
watching.
You commenting. And you posting and you tweeting.
Do you think her and Meryl Streep will be Meryl? Because I want her in a hoodie. I want her in a hoodie when she's like, I want you to be my mama.
Did you see the when she jumped over the banister to go hug her?
Yes.
That was hilarious.
That's hilarious.
Oh, boy.
Listen, dreams do come true.
Yep. Well, anyway, this was a conflict-free episode. But I do enjoy doing them with you.
Same here. So listen, y'all, this is my call to action today. I want y'all to look at a conflict that you have holding on to and get rid of it. I don't know how. Let me know how you do it.
Because I really don't feel like doing no homework. It's snow outside. I got things to do.
Then don't worry about it.
Don't be asking me next week, like, how did homework go?
No, there's no homework. It's for everybody else. If you got a conflict that you're holding on to it, let it go.
Oh, gosh. Every week a song, right?
There's always a song. If they haven't noticed by now that we talk in song and movie and show, then I don't know.
Exactly. Bonus points if you know.
If you can figure a few of them out.
Few of them out. Yeah, exactly. Anywho.
All right. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Love y'all.
And don't forget, follow us.
Subscribe.
Yes. If you're listening to this, you're already subscribed. I hope it's not just a download.
And share.
Share and follow us on Twitter at.
Yep. Yeah. Yes.
Bye now.